Hi guys, xDarkFaex from Bandursnatch here, and this is the September favourites. Maya started us off last month with her August favourites, and if you haven't seen it, I'd go and watch it. But it's basically our recommendations for things to watch, to read, to play, to listen to, and to wear. So I thought I'd give it a go. My first recommendation is a TV show called Bitten. It's a Canadian TV show, and it is based on a series by Kelly Armstrong called Women of the Other World. So that's the first book, Bitten. This is the very old cover, because I got these when I was in college. They are fabulous. I recommend giving those a read as well. Basically it focuses on Elena Michaels, which is the world's only female werewolf. The lore around werewolves in this series is that it's a hereditary passed down to males only. And it's also very unusual for people to survive being bitten anyway. Elena is quite a special lady because she is the first and only female to survive being bitten. The story focuses on how she tries to balance her human life with her curse, and the struggle she faces when she has to go back to the werewolf pack to help with the problem. It's actually a fairly faithful adaptation of the book, which is great. There's a few notable differences later on with characters and things, but overall it follows the main plot of Mutt trying to take down the werewolf pack, and how they deal with sort of the plot against them. They are currently airing the second season on Sci-Fi, and this one sort of mixes elements of stolen, time storm magic, industrial magic, and I'm really enjoying it. They've actually brought in the witches, and Paige is quite an interesting character, and I actually don't hate Savannah, which is the first, because in the books she is not a likeable character. So yeah, if you're into sort of your gritty supernatural shows or werewolves, I definitely recommend giving this one a go. My to read recommendation is actually a continuation. It is Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles, and this is basically the continuation of their first shonen manga. So it's actually one of the first anime and mangas that I actually got into, so the fact that they're continuing it is brilliant. It follows the story of a boy called Shaoran, who is on a mission to collect the memories of his best friend Sakura. They're joined by a magician named Fi and a ninja called Kurogane, and they basically travel through different dimensions, through time, through space, to collect these memories. And it starts off as a really light-hearted, fun journey, and then it gets dark. Really quite dark. Again, it's a sort of supernatural fantasy type thing. So yeah, my other obvious choice would be The Cursed Child, but I have not actually read this one yet. I am waiting until I've seen the show because I want everything to be new and shiny, and I'm so excited. My to play, I am actually a very casual gamer, and I actually enjoy watching people play games more than I do playing them myself, because I have terrible hand-eye coordination. If anyone's tried to see me play Assassin's Creed, they would, yeah. So instead I've been watching Let's Plays on YouTube, and I've finished Dreamfall Chapters, which is the final instalment of the Longest Journey and Dreamfall games. I loved every moment. It's another sort of dimension travel-y type thing. I seem to like those. It's set in a universe where the world was one and then split into two. So you've got Stark, which is basically science, and it's the equivalent of our world. Then you have Arcadia, which is magic and basically the equivalent of dreams. And the story mainly follows a character called Zoe Castillo, and she is a dreamer, and her quest is to save both worlds, the balance between them, and the realm of dreams. You also play as a character you met in the last story, which is Kiana Alvane. His is a more personal journey. It's really interesting to see because it also gives the player insight into the world of Arcadia, sort of the politics, what's happening, the plot line that Zoe just doesn't have access to. So it gives the player a more well-rounded view of the plot. So I found the plot really intriguing. I thought the characters were well developed and the voice acting was brilliant. The graphics and animations are incredible. The scenery is, especially in Arcadia, it's gorgeous. The only problem was there was a noticeable drop in quality towards the end of the game where unfortunately they ran out of budget, so the animations are less fluid and the CGI is less well rendered. However, it is still very, very good and I would totally recommend giving it a play or a watch. Because I'm less of a computer gamer or a video gamer than I am sort of a role player or a board gamer, I figured I would give this a recommendation as well. So this is a card game called Braggart. I plan on introducing the Banders to you at some point as well. It's a fun little game, it's light-hearted, it's easy to play. The idea of it is that you get cards and you create a story. And you're basically in this tavern to boast about what adventures you've been on. And the aim is to get the best story, the most funny story, and then the other players can get cards that will change your story. So instead of fighting a giant dragon, you might have fought a chicken. So yeah, it's quite an interesting little game. It can be a good laugh, I think, if you sort of get into the improv of it, you sort of really get into the character of this boasting hero, it can really work very, very well. I've had a lot of fun playing it, so yeah. So to listen to, like Maya, I am actually listening to Night Vale. So if you haven't heard of it, it's a podcast told from the perspective of a radio host in America's weirdest town. I'm up to about episode 40. I'm really enjoying it and I can see why the others really, really love it. The only thing I would say is if you fall asleep listening to it, you'll have the weirdest dreams. And finally, my to wear. On Oso Cosplay's recommendation, I actually bought the Mermaids vs Unicorns palette. And this is by Revolution. I got it in Superdrug for £4 and it is amazing. The colours are gorgeous, the pigments show up really well in person and on camera. So yeah, it actually lasts quite well throughout the day as well. It's what I've been using for Captain Amelia, and yeah, I actually am in love with that. So that has been the September favourites. If you have anything that you think we would enjoy, whether it be anime, games, makeup, anything like that, feel free to drop us a comment in the box below, and we will see you again next time. Bye!